Welcome to Focus. This segment is an opportunity for us to focus on what matters with people, places, and things. I'm your photographer, Darrell Everidge.
And on this episode of Focus, I am honored to have with me today Vietnam vet Stan Mauldin, who was once the commander here at the Loganville American Legion, who is the co-founder of Ride for America. Tell us a little bit about all that.
Well, it's was all of the things that I do. I try to keep in mind to continue to serve my country, and I feel like by being a part of the American Legion, it was very rewarding for me, and I still feel like that I'm serving my country. I feel like I'm helping the current military and veterans and the families of both. That's one of the reasons I felt like that I wanted to climb the ladder, so to speak. I started out as a member of this post back 15 years ago. And the main reason I started out as a part of this post was just to be an American Legion rider. And you have to be in a part of the, to be in the American Legion rider, you have to be a member of the Legion. But I soon found out that the Legion is a big business and it helps a lot of, and I call it a business because truthfully it is. But I also felt like that, there was more than just riding our motorcycles and doing what we do as Legion riders.
And just looking at some of your awards and some of your badges here, you have the Bronze Star, you have the Good Conduct Ribbon, the National Defense Ribbon, the Vietnam Service Ribbon, and the Purple Heart. Tell us about that.
Well, we jokingly say that the Purple Heart was awarded to people that forgot to duck. But I was an infantryman in Vietnam, went to Vietnam in early November of 1968, and I served 14 months in Vietnam. Matter of fact, I can remember coming home from Vietnam on December the 31st, 1969. I was coming down the expressway, 85 here in Atlanta, where my sister and brother-in-law picked me up and from the airport, and when 69 turned over to 70. It was a big day for me. But I tell you the little bit about Vietnam. Coming home from Vietnam is I read a lot of emails and got a lot of buddies that float emails and that sort of thing now, and those guys joke about some of the things we did, and some of the things we did we don't think should be a joke at all. But I often say that by my record of making it back home is something that I feel like I was definitely blessed, but also a little lucky, because I don't feel like you serve 14 months as an infantryman and come home and not have a little bit of luck. It wasn't that I was that good, I was just that lucky and blessed.
Do you remember that day that you stepped foot back in America?
I do. It was December the 30th, and I come back through Seattle, Washington, and we got back from Vietnam, and it was late in the afternoon. I thought I was going to get on home that day, that evening, but it wasn't meant to be. It was a little bit late in the day, and so we got our traditional steak dinner, and we had to spend the night there, and the next day they took and cleared our records to where we could go home from there. And coming home, it was quite an experience back in late 69, early 70. I had a guy that I was in khakis and a field jacket, because again it's in the winter, that the guy told me, he said, do you have any civilian clothes? One of the last things he told me once he zeroed me out, and I said, yeah. I said, I think I do in my duffel bag. He said, well, you might want to put that on. And I said, why? And he said, because you may want to kill somebody before you can get home. And I found that very disappointing because I was proud of what I had done and proud that I had made it home. My family was proud of me, and I really wanted to come home and not brag, but walk with my chest stuck out, so to speak, for a good while. But that wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't meant to be because during those years, there was too many people that were protesting and calling us baby killers and that sort of thing. So it was very disappointing to me. But our due has come around, and nowadays we get a lot of thank yous and welcome homes and that sort of thing. So.
And with the way that society is going now, and with the younger generation, do you think they're putting servicemen and the flag itself on the back burner?
I would have to say the young guys now aren't as big into the Legion as we were in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, because the social media now is so big that they can find out, the answers to questions that they have so much easier. And a lot of those guys that are coming home now are people that definitely touch my heart, and I'm very emotional about these guys in the sense that, I was 19 years old, when I first went to Vietnam, and then come home a young man too. But some of these guys that are serving now are on up in age and have children, because the National Guard at one point was, definitely taking care of our country. And I feel for those guys, but those guys have got children to raise and get through school and on through college and that sort of thing. So it's kind of tough to take and criticize those guys, but they're not that much interested in the Legion. I think if they found out, what the Legion does, then I think that it would help a little bit, but that's our fault for not educating those guys and getting more information out to them. I understand that, there's still a lot of suicides. I heard the other day that we got it at one point it got up to 22 a day. Now, a lot of people find that as, that maybe is a far stretch, but you can Google it or work on it however you would like to find out about it, and you find out that it's true. But just recently I heard it went down to 20. That's still too many. One is too many, but that's too many.
What do you think can be done to change people's minds about respecting the flag? And what are your thoughts on some of the athletes and some of those that take a knee when the national anthem's being played?
Well, I last year was the first year that I went all fall and winter long without watching a National League football game, a pro football game. I don't know that whether I punished myself or whether I made a statement or whatnot, but I know that keeping in touch with the people that I served with in Vietnam that made it home are, we all took and did that sort of thing. Even I've got a friend that lives just the other side of New Orleans, and as you know, New Orleans played some good football this past year, what I read about him. So, but he stuck to his guns and didn't watch them either. But, those guys, I feel like, could find a different way to protest and get their meanings out, their word out and their message out in a different way. Because kneeling when the flag is displayed and when we play the national anthem, it's just, to me, it's degrading our country. It's not really what I think the message that they want to convey.
Well, tell us what you think the future is for the American Legion and for VFW and for all of these type of organizations that support the veteran.
I'm not sure. I think that's a great question, and I hesitate to think about the American Legion no longer being here to help our veterans and the families of those veterans, because again, we do so many good things for the people that we find out that needs help. But I've had people that Legionnaires actually, that some of my friends that tell me that they feel that the Legion's dying. And truthfully, I didn't get bitter to them, but I told them I was disappointed in them. I feel like that if we continue to work and work hard, we can take and get our word out and that we're here to help those people. There's so many good things that are out there. The American Legion Riders, quite a number of years ago, started a college fund called the National Legacy College Scholarship Fund. And that College Scholarship Fund is for children of fallen veterans since 9/11. That is a big deal. How could you not take and feel good about that? A mom or a dad, and there have been ladies that was in the service that lost their life, but a mom or dad that lost their life, and to know that what can we do to help those people? What can we do? Well, that's one big thing that we can do. We can make sure that the National Legacy College Scholarship Fund continues to have plenty of money in it, because some of those people are having children that's not anywhere near college age yet. So we got to make sure that money's there for those people. So I think that if we told those people, if we got our message out better, and this, I know I keep alluding to that, but there's a lot of work to be done in the American Legion, and there's a lot of fun to be had too. I mean, it's not all work. We have fun at some of our meetings. We have Saturday night dances. We have Friday nights that we might have a cold drink, an adult beverage, or a glass of tea, whatever you would have. But and there's a lot of camaraderie right here at our post. So I would really like to think that those guys, or I hope that those guys don't think that if they come and they join the American Legion, are they going to be treated like the young guy of the post that has to take out the trash or do something like that. That's not the way it is. But how do you convey that to those guys? How do you get their interest up? And we've done studies to try to get more of the younger people into the post, because again, we worry about the direction of the Legion right now. During my term as commander, it was one of the first times that we've hit our quota on memberships, and I think it was like 7, 8 years. Last year, we failed to meet it by only just a few members, and we worked so hard to make that happen, but it just didn't happen. So this year, we're hoping that we can meet our membership goal. Our goal is set by the state of Georgia, and it comes down from state level. National tells the state what they would like to see when it comes to membership, and then the state level officers tell the district level officers, district level officers tell the local. And so what we're trying to do is make sure it's fair for everybody. There's a lot of research that they can find out about the how many citizens actually live in the area of your post, So it takes a lot of work, but again, we are trying hard to make sure that we continue to try to keep the Legion alive and have fun while we're doing it, because again, if it's all work, no play, I got a feeling that people won't be interested in it. And we do a lot of things to try to make sure that the children of those people, we even thought about, and we do have special times for those children. Maybe not as often as we should, but we even thought about maybe having nursery on a Saturday night or something like that, so that the young people could come to the post and have fun. But so far we hadn't implicated that. But we're open for ideas on how we can make the younger veterans interested in the American Legion, because it's definitely I feel like it's a good thing. I've been should have been more involved before I was, but for the last 15 years I've been involved, and really wish that I could do more.
What do you think about the way you hear all these shootings going on right now? A lot of violence in America, and you got one side saying take everybody's gun away, and then you got some saying don't blame the gun. What, as a service person, someone who's been in a war and fought the enemy, what do you think about that? People fighting amongst themselves in their own country.
I have different opinions on that. One of the opinions is it's going to be definitely difficult to try to combat these young guys that want the notoriety of killing a lot of people. And this may sound strange, but I'd love to see better control of video games, not better control of guns or sort of weapons. To military men, a weapon that's of military style is something that they enjoy having. I don't think gun control is the answer, because when they're saying when guns are outlawed, only the outlaws will have guns, I really believe that. If a person wants to gain access to a gun, he's going to find out a way to get that gun. And a lot of people are talking now about the ammo clips, the 20 and 30 and 40 round clips, that sort of thing. I don't think that's the answer either, because a lot of the military style weapons come with a 8 or 10 round clip anyway. So how easy is it to push the release and pop in another one? I don't think that's the answer. I did hear of another senator talking about maybe we should have better control on how we take and let people buy multiple rounds of ammo. And I don't know. I really feel like it's the young people that feel that they're not a part of their peer group more so than anything. I'm not sure that I agree with the red flag either. I just don't know. I wish that I had a better answer for you, and I think that there's some people out there that's much more intelligent than I that maybe could have the discussion that you and I are having here now, and maybe come up with some kind of answer, because we do need to talk about it. We don't need to criticize each other. Our country is so strong. I can remember after 9/11, I was going on a trip up to, I think it was Knoxville, Nashville, somewhere in Tennessee, going up the expressway, and some of our military vehicles were coming south. And there was convoys of military coming south, and there were people on the bridges waving at those guys. How good does that make you feel? How good does that make you feel? It made me feel great. Because we come home from Vietnam and we hid that was even part of Vietnam. But those guys were being applauded and people waving and proud of them. And so was I. So was I. Because it's just, when you do a job, when you make a commitment to your country, a lot of people can't understand the commitment that they're making, to our country. It's to me, it's sad that nowadays that people just don't understand the commitment that they're making, and not necessarily that they're making commitments where they may go over to Afghanistan or wherever in the Middle East and could lose their life. They're putting their life on the line. But think about again, and we talked about it earlier. Think about these guys that's got children and they leaving those children. How do those children understand? My dad's gone. And he's not going to be back for 12 months or whatever. So to me, we need to have better understanding of what the military is about nowadays and how the military operates. But it's kind of sad when we have our two parties that are accusing one side of something and the other side is accusing people of something else. And I just think that, again, there's too many intelligent people that are serving, most of them, let's put it that way. There's some that I kind of got my doubts about in the Congress now, but there's some smart people that are congressmen and senators and our president, our vice president, on down. There's a lot of people that are very intelligent that could maybe put their heads together rather than taking and being disappointed in what one says and what the other one said back. And let's take and pull our country back together. And our country is pulled together before my whole point up here. After 9/11, our country pulled together big time. And I think that if we tried hard, we can combat these young guys that feel like they got to go out and kill these people. I mean, it's sad. It's really sad. The one guy that I'm not going to use any names, not that I even know their names, but the one guy that surrendered, I'll tell you this, he's a coward. He's a coward. He wanted to kill people, but he didn't want to die. Our military wants to go and do good things. Do they want to die? No, but they're dying. They're dying every day. So, this guy, to think that he was so good, he killed all these people, but yet when our policemen, and bless those guys, but when our policeman approached him and he gave up, he's a coward. He's a coward. So that's kind of how I feel about those kind of shootings. And I'm not sure that I wouldn't want to take and put laws on the video games because some of those things are so real when they go around those military video games. And I've heard that some guys get hooked on them so bad that they gotta do it every day. When they get home in the afternoons, they gotta do it every day. So that maybe is one of the answers, but there's a lot of difference in going and actually killing somebody. Believe me, I know. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, and it's something that you have to live with for the rest of your life, and it's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's not just a part thing. I can turn that TV off, but once you go out and start shooting people, you've committed a big time crime, and you've taken a person's life or people's life, and it's not something that can be undone.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate what you're doing too, making the people aware of our veterans, because I know that I read an article the other day that I thought was really good, and it was about a mayor that wanted to put mayors all over the state, and every city wanted to get them together to help our active military now to make sure that we combated the young people that are taking their lives. And I told Ray about it, our mayor here in Loganville, and I think that it's a good thing that we could put that sort of program together.